Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this series. Today we have, I don't want to take a lot of time. I think Shashi will do the needful in terms of introducing the speaker. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting, very enriching experience for all of us. People are still joining in. But we have time to start. I would like to start today's session by just paying homage to our colleagues, our friends. You guys can see them on the screen right now. It's pretty unfortunate, pretty sad for all of us to have lost them due to this pandemic. I'll not say anything. My request is just to keep maybe 2 minutes silence to pay our homage to them. And then I'll request Shashi to officially start the session. So guys, 2 minutes silence, please. Thank you so much. Over to you, Shashi.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you very much. Hi, good evening, friends. It's a pleasure for me to, come together again and take the third session of Monday Motivation. And in this, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have done last two sessions, a little introduction. And then we are going to have a conversation with Abhay Tiwari, a senior industry leader whose life has been exemplary, and we will get to know and learn from him. Now, in the previous two sessions, we talked about happiness as a skill that can be learned. And that is what we have discussed. And over a period of few discussion, we realized that just getting the wealth, being wealthy is not enough to be happy. There was a happiness project done by Harvard Study, where they have conducted 75 years of study, 724 lives. And in that, they realized that some very important aspects like social connections that are very good for us, loneliness skills, and good relationship makes our life more smoother and easier. And just as they have worked on 724 lives, I realized, why don't we bring our industry leader and learn from his life? And that's how it is my pleasure and our pleasure to have this conversation with Abhay Tiwari. Now, Abhay Tiwari is a senior industry leader. He is currently director of BNP Paribas. He has also worked extensively in Deutsche Bank and TCS. He's MBA in finance, also MBA in HR, human resource management and project management. Now, I have met Abhay Tiwari almost 3 years back in one of the session, Ideas into Action in Mumbai, and I realized the versatility of Abhay Tiwari. He's such a wonderful speaker. He's most of the interesting, charismatic leaders, and I have personally gained a lot from him. Although most of the people don't know, apart from the 2 MBAs and graduations, he has also done degree in weapons technology. That was surprising for me, even after knowing 3 years closely with him. I was not aware. So welcome, Abhay Tiwari. We are going to have a conversation with him and learn from him. Welcome, Abhay.
Thank you, Shashi. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your generous word. And really, it's a two-way traffic follows me with me. I always tend to learn, tend to gain from each one, and from you also. I am working with you very closely, and we bumped each other into the various conferences. So definitely, it's not a one-way traffic; it's a two-way traffic. I always feel. So thanks for inviting me, and thanks to everyone, and thanks to Captain Rajesh sir for giving me, this platform. And surely I will try and do justice to share my knowledge and also gain the knowledge. It's not only sharing, and I hope it's going to be interactive session. Definitely, I will take back a few more lessons for my life.
Absolutely, Abhay. I look forward to, and we have Captain Sahab as well as Sameer online, and we will definitely get into interaction. So, Abhay, as I said,
I'm so sorry, Shashi. I'm so impressed. Right in the beginning, we have a hand raised by Satish Goel. I thought once Abhay will start speaking up, people will have questions. But I think this is about his personality. Satish, you want to go ahead?
Charisma, sir, charisma. That's what it
That's
is.
what I'm saying. Normally in the sessions, when
Sir,
speakers speak up,
आप अभय को लेकर के आए हो सेशन में, मतलब आप GACS से आपने इंट्रोड्यूस कराया, तो the person has to be that way ना. एक charismatic leader दूसरे charismatic leader को ही तो लेके आएगा सर.
तेरे को अलग से मैं टिप दूंगा, तू बाद में चिंता नहीं कर. But in the meantime, Satish, seriously, if you have a question, and I don't know, Jatin, can we allow Satish to ask a question, because right in the beginning he has raised hand. I'm surprised, but
I've already unmuted it. If there is anything that
okay, Satish.
Hi, Satish.
Hi, that's by mistake. I raised the hand. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, not an issue. No, we wanted to be very clear. We have said this is our forum.
Yes.
So we should be pretty open. I thought right in the beginning. No issues. Okay, sorry, Shashi, go ahead, please.
So, Satish, thank you for giving that break. It is interesting to have an open conversation, and that's exactly what we are doing now here. It's going to be a very interesting session in the sense that what we can share with the larger audience from GACS fraternity, and how do we learn from each other. And your life has been so interesting. I'm sure that there's a lot of things to learn from. So I will rather start on the aspect what not many people know, apart from your very close and family friends, your instinct in the defense services. So can you a little bit talk about that?
Yeah, surely, and proudly I can speak about that. There's no way that, because what Army taught me, I think so corporate world won't be able to give me that much in next 30 years or what I've done in the corporate world. Definitely and I thoroughly enjoyed my tenure. So I worked in Army for almost 13 years, and I worked in each and every part of the country. And I worked with the special forces. I worked with the technical arm. That's why you see my weapon degree, firing all kind of, big guns like Bofors and all, did that. Did a tenure into CA operation, counter insurgency operation with a heavy militant inflicted area like Jammu Kashmir, Manipur and Assam. Fortunate to fight for the country, first one to reach Dras, the coldest, second coldest place in earth, fight for the country, motherland. That really give me that I did my job for this country. And then also post parliament attack, I think so Parakram we mobilized. So I am really truly fortunate enough to see most of all the terrain of India while wearing the uniform and serve the motherland. So for me, it was a really a kind of experience which I'm thankful to my motherland and thankful to the elite army and my seniors and my colleagues in the army. I think so I cherish that memories, and these are the lessons who by virtue of training or by virtue of camaraderie, that really helped me in my transition to corporate world.
Wonderful. Abhay, I had a question actually to in the beginning, and I have been meeting a lot of leaders like you from defense, and many of them I don't understand. I just wanted to confirm or clarify from you. Many of them do give as a captain, like we have a Captain Rajesh here. But some of the people like Sanjeev Tulicheri or you, Abhay Tiwari, does not talk about it. So what exactly is this? I'm not able to figure it out, basically.
A good question. A lot of people ask me about that, and who came to know later on after working with me for 8 years, they came to that my background, my army. So with due respect to all my colleagues and my seniors who prefix their rank, definitely this rank is given by the President of India. Everybody can, and should be proud of fixing it, But a couple of things which I feel, it's your personal, choice whether you would like to put a prefix in front of your name. Having said that, I prefer, my personal, thinking that my action and by virtue of my action, I think so people should first learn about me as a gentleman, as a human being. And then, I think so if they come to know that I'm an ex, maybe a captain, major or colonel, I think so that will be an icing, on the cake, what I feel. Second, unfortunately in industry, people also carry the, some kind of perception when they, say that, he's ex-army, ex-Air Force, ex-Navy. That perception carries on. And then unfortunately, sometimes perception become a real, for them, they cannot come over the perception. So definitely, and third, when I, left my past world, it was my past laurels. Okay. I walked into a common man of India, and I love to be part of that, so that I can give and I can take also. And that's my thinking. And because of that, I've never used my rank, whatever.
Absolutely, I agree. And Captain Rajesh, what do you say?
Great. So I'm so glad. This is pretty interesting. I define it in a very simple way. People who have that substance in them, they don't need to use any rank. It's only people like me. हालांकि कोई सुनता ही नहीं है अपनी लाइफ में, तो I always say कि maybe you say कि I'm captain so and so, थोड़ा impact पड़ता है. But I think people like Abhay, they know they have so much of substance, they don't need any such rank designation. So I'm very clear, and that's why I
look who's ये कहते हैं sir, look who's talking.
नहीं, I'm telling you seriously, and I keep saying so. Like we have अपने senior most captain Elroy also, I see him with a hand raised. So this is my view, because see, even he never writes Captain Elroy, Abhay. They are all just people. They have very strong like substance in them. अपने ऐसे को लगता है कोई पूछता नहीं है लाइफ में.
नहीं, आपको जो कैप्टन दिया गया है, you're not carrying that army captain with you.
हाँ, I was the captain of cricket team. मैं तो गली मोहल्ले की क्रिकेट टीम का कैप्टन था.
That you lead, sir. You are a champion. देना चैंपियन था, वो कैप्टन दे दिया गया सर.
Correct. Sorry, Shashi, ये बड़ा interesting था, तो we got involved. Please continue, यार, ये हम तो मजाक करते रहते हैं.
Captain Sahab and Abhay, it is as a civilian myself, it was always a kind of curiosity. What is it actually? So, and I was wondering, and I think Abhay is a good friend, so I can probably ask him. Yeah, Abhay, please.
It's one thing. Always remember, it's earned. The forces are only one organization in the world and in India where you earn your rank. It's not given.
Absolutely. And Abhay, seeing the kind of work you've done in 12 years of your service, I'm sure you have definitely earned that. And various, colleagues like Captain Rajesh, all of them have. And we are very proud of all of you. And that's something which comes from my heart, that the kind of people I interact with, the kind of people like you and Captain and majors, many people I meet, and it's always wonderful to interact. But having said that, the idea is, Abhay, you need to give us, what did you learn in the army, which you like to, share with us, so that most of the people who are here in this group can learn. So one thing, if you give from army or defense services.
Yeah, lot of I can relate to a lot of action from my life in army, maybe in JNK, but I will take you to Kargil war, and definitely interesting, and which I will allude to later on, what it transpired into our world, corporate world, how people can take a learning from them. Kargil in Dras, that second coldest place in earth, 11,000 feet, month of the May, temperature goes to minus 21, 25 degree. Okay, crossing Jojila Pass, we were moved in the night of almost, I remember, in month of May, 5th or 6th of May, and we were doing operations, counterinsurgency operation. We were fighting against the military, and we told to pack off, finish the operation, pack off, and move within 3 hours to, and reach. We moved in the night, and Jojila is the toughest terrain, Jojila Pass, you know that. And we moved with our guns, RT guns, and ammunition, and we crossed Jojila in that particular, temperature in the night, and that too, I can say that you require a lot of clothing for, warm clothing for the high altitude area. It's a part of 21 clothing, and we had distributed only one, that is, our jackets. The rest all was a normal, like you work in the Srinagar. We moved with the team, and remember, the entire unit was and team was not slept almost 24 hours, because we did the operation, and we reached a place called Pandras, and we were supposed to receive by a battalion there who was in Dras. We were told that there was some operation need to be done. And Dras is a huge area. Mashko Valley, Dras is a huge area. You can't even think of, we can't think of. And it's all glaciated terrain, unmapped, no infrastructure there. Only there are few, people must have heard Dras Tololing, ahead of Tololing, there's a road, goes. We were told, we halted, switched off the light because of the convoy of 100 vehicle and guns and ammunition. We were told to stay. We went ahead and, we recce'd the area. We wanted to deploy the guns, be ready for the action. Unfortunately, we recce'd the area, and we were told to deploy in the place where the ammunition dump, ammunition was kept, RT and infantry. And we did a round in Jeep and one of my senior 2IC, and we told we'll not deploy. We switched off the light. We crossed that Dras, slowly we crossed it, and we were not even aware. We were watched by Pakistani through and through. Okay. But unfortunately, when we went and did the recce to, area, the Pakistani bombarded that ammunition dump, and they flattened the entire area that night. And luckily we deployed on the other side. Okay. Next day morning, we were briefed by the brigade commander. There are the militants, occupying the various posts. And that area is almost 300 and 400 square kilometer area. With 3 battalion, we moved in, we deployed the guns, we took our ammunition ration, and we started on foot. And we reached a certain peak. I can tell you the peak's name is 5140. So you can imagine we were not reached at the 5140 at 20,000 feet. And Pakistan is a very, very, very good, and they kept the, fire discipline. They never fired on us. Entire morning, 2 o'clock we started, and we made our path, and we climbed and climbed and climbed. When all 3 patrols reached on the top, we were bombarded by medium machine guns, by RT shelling, by anti-aircraft gun, by missiles and everything. And like my party, we almost lost numerous souls in front of our eye. Okay. And we were surrounded everywhere. We were surrounded everywhere. We were not aware where to go. I was leading, and I dug the snow cave because we were trained in that. We dug the snow cave. We went inside the cave. We'd injured with people, and we stayed put in the night. One day went, one day gone, and then second day again, they started early morning, they started firing. But in the high altitude area, the weather goes packed up very fast. It starts snowing in the morning, 9:30, 10. What I did, we were having limited food, limited medical supplies, but limited, no water, you can say. And we survived there in that cave for 3 days, 3 to 4 days we survived. And then I started slithering, sleeping all my soldiers one by one down to the base in the night. And we are not knowing, where we are going, because it's sliding from 20,000 feet and going down again. Okay. But fortunately, almost 60% of us came alive. Okay. But that 4 days was hell for us. When we came down, by the time we realized, no, they are not military. They are regular Pakistani armies, and they are well fortified, well trained, and they got a support of heavy arms like artillery and everything. When we came down, and my commander met me, and commander told, how are you, my son? Well, I'm fit, fine, sir. Fighting fit, there's no problem. What about casualty? I had a few casualty. It's a little bit collateral damage. That's fine. The boys are pretty much, ready for next action. We built up the artillery. That next 3 days were so, you can say, like Pakistani bombarded us like left, right, here and there. We did that. We built on the artillery, and we moved on to plan next attack. And for that attack, you have to do a recce. You have to go in the night under the nose of the army, Pakistan army sitting on the deck. You have to cross the river in the night. You have to stay put in the shadow, recce the targets, make the plan, come back every night. We did it for 3 days. Okay. an interesting episode in that. In the night, the river, the water freezes. Okay. So when we used to cross the ride, and it used to freeze like hardly 5 feet of the nala. And when we used to come back in the night, scare of the life, it used to be 20 feet. Okay. And how we used to cross, we used to jump all 4 or 5 people together. We used to hold our hands tight and jump together so that 4 of us can, at least jump 10 feet, then cross the river in the night while coming back in the night. And we used to do that. So, we crossed it, and we never thought that we, in normal situation, people there will die. And either you will die of enemy or you water or freezing. But we did that. Then we planned an attack. And when we planned the attack, briefing was going on, and the commander asked, what is the appreciation, my CEO? We told 70% casualty, the frontal attack. We took the gun, and RT gun, is an area weapon. You cannot fire it like it's normal machine gun. It's an area of 400 feet. You cannot fight less than that because splinter comes. We told we need a support of RT guns in direct shooting. Few of the soldiers and officer, I don't want to, even they cried, they never wanted to participate in an attack. They told we are not fit. Okay. When we starting for the attack, we built up the artillery, we started the attack. And before that, there's a custom that they tie a chain on you, your number and your caste, so that in case you die, will cremate. And my Subedar major, he came to me and that you want to write some letter for your wife. Why the hell I will write a letter? Well, you will not come alive. I will come alive. Don't worry. Well, no one has come alive till date. And your son, I told, no, don't worry. I'll come with the boys. You don't even need not to worry. We went on attack. Touchwood, attack went, frontal attacks. We had casualty. We succeeded in the attack. People cried. People died in the arms. Succeeded in the attack. And post-attack, that we pushed the Pakistani back, and there's a peak called 5140, and throughout the 5140 was Pakistani. I was surrounded Pakistani, and I said that in post for 62 days. And I directed RT fire for all the attacks with the Tiger Hill or any, and I was attacked every day from Pakistani by special forces. We survived on Pakistani ration for 62 days. I had only Naga troops of 22 people. And open sky was our home, and temperature, as you say, and we used to eat for rice and rice and salt once in a day. We were so happy, positive. We never gave up. Pakistan used to threat on the radio set and all. So what I want to tell, why entire episode leads to few things in life. Starting from induction, the positivity, how positive you are in your approach. That's very important. Second, the team you lead. You to ensure that they are morally, they are so, upbeat, and they know they can move the mountains. Third, I can say, the attitude, how you take your, attitude, whether, in corporate also, we are given a job and we say, what the hell, why? Third, fourth thing I'll say, which I told people when they were going along with me, overcome your fear. How to overcome your fear? Everybody was afraid. No one can say that I'm not afraid of that. That's in front of you, that you can do that. Fifth, believe in yourself. How you believe, I can do that. And mind you, we were in Drasis, 11,000, attack was 20,000, no days of acclimatization, only 2 days of 1 day of acclimatization. And we were pushed. So you can achieve everything. And that's why I always say impossible, I am possible. Always. It's a task are difficult, but nothing is impossible in life. That's what is my mantra. Then I can say, emotional balance is very, very important in such situation, because your action is leading, can result into life saving for your troops who are under your command. Then also I can say, the camaraderie, you can say, the kind of integrated team action, because it's not one man job, So when we work in real estate, we say, okay, I'll only do, and then fourthly, you're not competing with anyone. You're competing with yourself. Okay. And then taking action, taking responsibility of your action, because you as a leader, you're deciding and you are giving assurance to your ups that I'll do it. Then it's your job to make sure that you lead your team and be responsible for your action. So the few things which I correlate in corporate world, it's very, very important. I can take clue from that. And there are a lot of incidents where I say that, one is self-belief. It can move mountains, and definitely, not going to negativity mode every time, because sometimes, don't expect you pat on your back. If you expect pat on your back, which generally people do in the mid-career, definitely they get other side of the, emotional quotient.
Absolutely, Abhay, I hear you. In fact, the way you told the story, I actually was thinking of Lakshya, the movie with the Hrithik Roshan. All the scenes were absolutely there. Having said that, Abhay, I'm sure that faith and hope was probably the most important aspect, as Leo Tolstoy said. I talked about it last session. Faith and hope. Without the faith and hope, I believe it will be difficult to stay in that kind of situation. Do you agree to that?
Absolutely. Faith is there. And if you're positive, you will have faith in yourself, you will have faith in your team. You have to have faith in your team, the people under you. That's very, very important.
So when you come back, Abhay, so what happened? After this kind of a situation where every action results, it is based upon a life. While when you transition from defense services to corporate world, what was the main difference? We still fight corporate fights.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. I think so. They're totally two different worlds. And especially when I left army, and Captain Rajesh also can, and especially when, person who saw all the action in the life, from that particular background, huge difference, First of all, understanding the values of life is very, very important. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's very important. And second, corporate world, if you see all the management, principles, the process, if you go into the Western world or India, it's been driven from army to corporate world. So if you go into the 19th century, if you see even management techniques have been, most of has been flown, whether it's America, whether US or whether India, definitely, but it's two different world. When I came here and, when I joined my first job, TCS, definitely. So for me, the beautiful thing was there that, I've transitioned very fast into the reality. I was not in the, fantasy of my earlier job. That was I touched the ground and I felt it. Yeah, it's ground. Okay. It's not water. And I changed my mindset. Change management is very important. I changed my way, the way I used to think, the way I used to work, the way I used to talk. That's very, very important because that's a different world. That's a totally, here you are working into a organization, which is again multi-facet organization with a different geography of people, and also people are, they are competing with each other. They are not competing with themselves, unfortunately, and which I realized very fast. It took me time, but realized very fast. And definitely, I understood the nitty-gritty. It took me almost 3 months to understand, how the system works. But knowing, reading humans, psychology, knowing how the one person will react and think, that was very important. But that really helped me. I started organizing people. I started putting the, structure in place, putting, giving a shape, and in terms of the coaching to individuals who were there in the organization for 20 years, but nobody took the pain to even groom them or, realize them what is their strength and what is their weakness. So that really, really helped me in my first job, and I think so for me, it was a lucky enough that, it was a no-brainer. And very frankly, one thing I also would like to, in my transition, my family was my biggest strength. They stood by me, my wife, and she stood by me. And that that was very, very important. Coming to Bombay directly also, that Mahanagari, and from, somewhere from Dehradun, and especially with no support mechanism here. I think so, again, what I believe, we believe ourselves, me and my wife, believe in our strength. We believe everything possible, and we did it.
And I think, Abhay, I remember you telling me that within the joining of 2 days, you started another war footing project of
Yes.
3 million square feet. So
Yes.
how did you transition? Defense experience would have helped you there, I believe.
Yes, my earlier experience, I had experience for 6 months, and that really, really helped me. and that too in this line only. I was thrown in the Yantra Park and told, okay, from Air India building, go there, sit there in 2 days, and it's your baby now. Basically a Yantra Park project, and then also working with the various, because you make a offshore development center for a client, and they audit it from the third-party auditor. So I did a lot of I used to study things which I was not aware, very frankly, and I used to read in the night. I used to come prepare, ask questions, and I used to challenge the consultant, whether architect, MEP consultant. So everybody was taken aback. They never thought a person like me who's coming from army, 3 months, they started asking all this question. But definitely, it took a lot of effort. And I was never shy in asking question and learning from junior most consultant member. I did that. I used to go on the side. I, devote my time, and I took a lot of pain and a lot of learning, because, unless until I know my depth, I cannot command respect for my team, and I cannot challenge them.
But then, you also, worked with L&T for 6 months on a project. So you got the training also there, and that's too on hands-on job. So actually you were there with that. How about that?
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Hands-on job, but army always teaches hands-on job. I'll tell you, when you join army as an officer, you are not allowed to, touch a weapon unless until you treat that particular weapon like gun as a 6 month as a Johnny, as a Jawan. So you have to know nut bolt of each and everything. Then you are given respect, and then you are given the stripe. So that's there. Hands-on, that's why I say, people, as of now, I sit at 30,000 feet, but I know what's going on at 3,000 feet. That's the beauty of a leader.
Really, absolutely sure. And the transition you actually did quite well, and coming to the this large organization. So do you think that you were able to talk to the people the way you were doing in defense? And second question on that, the happiness quotient in defense and corporate world, is it same with you?
Happiness, you have to define yourself.
Yes.
How we draw your happiness.
Yeah.
I got my own criteria of happiness. I was very clear.
So what is it? Let's share the trick,
My criteria, I need to first satisfied with what I'm doing in life. So that I know. Second, my team is happy, my family is happy. I'm a very happy person. That's what I believe in, in happiness. That's my definition of happiness. And definitely, your first question about the handling of stakeholders management. Sometimes it's inborn quality also, God gifted. And that came to me, and I was fortunate enough, and I used to, I read every individual senior person management. I used to read everyone. Read in sense that I used to, know their personality, how they talk, what they like. When you can, you can bluntly, you can't challenge them because they are sitting in the management position, but how to approach them. So you have to apply a different set of, the criteria in dealing with the different men. And I did that beautifully, and within 1 year, I started working like a office of Mr. Ramodarai. I was lucky enough, my delivery center had, was so impressed that I was sitting in a meeting in CSR with Mr. Ramodarai and project review meetings, all this thing. So you have to define how you handle yourself, how you present yourself, and in the various forum. That's very important. You have to know your audience. And when you are dealing with the audience individually or dealing in a group, you need to decide how to take it forward. And that's what and I was never shy. I never mixed my word, very frankly, whether it's army or whether it's the corporate world. I never did this in my life. I was very clear. I always express my views.
Wonderful. So Jatin, you let us know how we are doing on the times front. Also, we are going to open this forum for questions. And I would also like to ask Captain Rajesh, do you have anything to ask Abhay sir?
No, I think nothing to ask, but again, like you said, maybe you spoke about a movie that you are relating it to movie, guys, but believe you me, what Abhay said is not that easy. But we can visualize and we can still feel. We do get goosebumps, but when you are there in the thick of it, it's like any moment, anything can happen. And there is a lot of courage. And again, I'm not saying just because we have an army background, I'm generally saying it's not easy. There are a lot of people who have served in the forces probably never got an opportunity to be there at the borders or to be in the operations or insurgencies. So I think that's one thing which definitely gives you that kick. There is no question as such, but I think since we are on this topic and like I said, army is all about hierarchy. I see Captain Elroy sir raising his hand. So if Jatin, you can allow him to speak up. You can unmute him. In the meantime, I only one question is away, and it's not a
Sorry,
question.
but Captain Elroy is already, he can unmute himself. I've already done that. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. वो सीनियर आदमी दिख जाता है ना, हाथ खड़ा किया तो फिर बोला नहीं जाता, वो कंसंट्रेशन वहीं रहता है. एलरॉय सर,
How are you?
सर ऑल वेल. आपका हाथ देखा तो मैं चुप हो गया. मैं कहा पहले
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. नहीं, I raised my hand because when I was hearing Abhay, I mean, I think Shashi had asked this question, why don't you put your name? And you also said that, why don't you add your designation before your name? When we started off our careers, it was very different the way when I started. I started somewhere around 89 and 90. At that point of time, if you put captain in front of your name, you would be sent to the security department only, and that was the end of your career. So I realized that in my second job, that the first job was at Oswald, the second one was at Hero. I said, boss, if there is something in life that you need to move, it's not that. See, it's the commission was given to us by the President of India, so nobody could take it back unless and until you've done something very grossly wrong. And we all knew it was there, so you could always add it as a prefix or a suffix as you wanted. But what was more important is that, see, even today I don't write my rank, but when people talk to me, or people, when I walk up to somebody, they just ask me, are you from the forces? So I said, you guessed it right. I said, no, the stature is such, and the way you do it comes automatically. Yes, in fact, we've learned it the very hard way. And of course, now at this point of time, you just sit back and, sort of relax as to what exactly is happening around the world. Too many changes that are happening, and the world is moving fast into technology, which, of course, at that point of time, there was hardly any technology, actually speaking. So it's great actually to, when you interact with people from the forces, you see every day for us, even today we are learning. Even today, right now at this point of time, when I'm listening to about, I think, and there are about 64 participants on this call. And I think if anybody else also speaks, I'm learning. I'm still learning. The process of learning doesn't get over. It probably ends when, when we get into the grave. So it's a great feeling to always innovate yourself. And when you were asking, Sachi, you were asking on the other things also, see, forces teach you a lot of things, basic things they do, but it has a lot of meaning. Like, I'll give you a very small example. They used to tell us that every day in the evening you have to play games, and you have to not play an officer-like game. You have to play a game with the men. And when it means men, it's a level playing field. So you're playing football, you're playing hockey, and some guy will very back you on your shin, and you are down for some time. But then again, it is sweat to sweat, actually. That is how you develop the camaraderie. The camaraderie between the officer, the men. And I still remember, I am from the Armored Corps, so we used to keep a red book. And I still have that red book. When when we started off, the entire troop, the names, including when I was the Squadron 2IC also, I have still the names of all those people who had joined during my time. Some of them have retired. They've been Sildar majors, some have gone honorary captains, etc., etc. The list is endless. But what I mean to say is, I knew the guy, if he was married, his wife's name, his son's name, his father's name. Everything was so meticulously done. It was not for anything. It was a connect. And that connect is still there. Today, of course, many of those JCOs are on Facebook. It really surprises me as to the way the technology has moved. And the same JCO used to tell me, "Saab, mera to na main application bhi nahi likh sakta hu." Aur aaj wo Facebook pe bhi hai. So you can imagine the transition that has happened. It's a very steady transition that has happened. Yes, for us in the corporate world, survival is the fittest. You have to be very, update in terms of your knowledge, your skill, your aptitude, etc., etc. And these are the things actually that was I was trying to connect with Abhay when he was talking. So that's what it is for my side.
Okay, no, so great, sir. Let me clarify. A lot of people are pinging me. So what Elroy said, it was not Red Bull, it is Red Book.
Red Book,
आपकी
Red
इमेज
Book.
ऐसी है, lot of people are saying कि अच्छा उस टाइम से Red Bull का शौक है सर को.
अरे
मैं
मैंने
समझा रहा हूँ
book ही
भाई,
बोला
Red Bull
भाई.
बोला है.
मैंने book ही
लेकिन
बोला है.
सर आपकी पर्सनालिटी ऐसी है ना, आप कुछ बोलते हो तो रेड बुल की तरफ ही ध्यान जा रहा है लोगों का. So guys, this was Red Book, not a Red Bull, number one. And number two, again, since we are talking about that topic, why to use rank or not to use rank, I somehow felt कि when I came to civil में ज्यादा खतरा है. At least फौज में पता था कि दुश्मन सामने है, तो मुझे लगा वो तो बड़ा सिंपल था. यहाँ तो चारों तरफ लग रहा था कि सब तरफ से दुश्मन है. तो आई फेल्ट कि जो फील्ड कंडीशन फौज की थी वो फिर भी बेटर थी, सिविल में ज्यादा खतरा था. तो आई डिसाइडेड टू कंटिन्यू. बट एनीवे, दैट वाज ऑन अ लाइटर नोट. कमिंग बैक टू यू अबे, since it's a pretty interesting sort of a discussion going on.
I agree with you.
Sorry,
Captain
Shashi, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, Captain Sab, and Elroy sir also. So, Abhay, you see what he was talking about, the level playing field, right? And when you talk to other people and interact with other people at a level playing field, does it happen in the corporate world as well? However, Captain Rajesh, kind of touched upon it. What do you think?
This is exactly what I was asking. What was your experience when, like Captain Elroy spoke about level field? Do you really think you get that field in corporate world also?
I will not be, I will not get into the political mode of giving answer to it. I'll be very, upfront here. You have to make your space. You have to make your place in the corporate world. That's very, very important, because sometimes you'll not get, and few of the people never get the level play field, and so corporate, as you know, that you have to, Captain Rajesh also mentioned, the kind of atmosphere is there. And I'm not saying that it's everywhere, because it's a part and parcel of any big organization, every and any organization. But you have to make it, you have to make sure that your personality is developed in that way. You present yourself in that way that people will have no choice to hear you out. And that you have to make your own space in the organization. That's very, very important. And people say he's a hard assets,
I agree with you, Abhay. And, like we have been bombarding with you with questions. Captain is there, Sameer sir is there. And would you like to ask any questions to them?
I'll ask you first.
Please,
okay. You are into a real estate field. How you're managing your time for passion for writing as an author?
Okay, so I manage it just like that. Army and the regular thing, defense thing is in your blood. Passion for writing is in my blood. So it is just like breathing. So every day morning I write 2 hours, and over the period of 2-3 years it becomes a book. In fact, interestingly, in the COVID time, my wife had COVID, and 14 days isolation, I wrote 4 ebooks out living in COVID time. So it is in blood, so it is just breathing for me. That's how I manage actually.
Still, I saw you're very active on always some of the articles, your blog, you're writing, you are there very quite active on social media, and that's when always I think.
The real estate is world is very stressful, and for me, letting my hairs down is the way to write, and passion will always leads to that. Making yourself calm down within yourself. So introspection. While real estate, you have been dealing with people day in, day out, thousands of people, different characters, and so how do you come back to normal self? I write. So that's how it goes. Yes. So anything else?
I think the Captain.
I got a question from Sabiha actually, but please go ahead.
So Captain Rajesh, very short answer I'll expect from him. When he left army and started into the corporate world, and now how he kept himself. So he's a very well recognized leader in the corporate world, and he's like what I meant, that you have to make your place in the organization, especially corporate world, to stay afloat, and he's been respected by everyone. So what is the recipe for that?
So again, I think Abhay, whatever you said, my learnings were also from the forge. And one thing which I always maintained was, it was never in terms of anyone being senior or a vendor or a contractor, irrespective of whenever I was there at whatever level, I think I gave due respect to every individual. And probably that's the only reason. When I'm telling you seriously, this may sound a little stupid, but when I was moving to this role, everyone said, Kisan, don't do that. Because as an IPC service provider, when you will go to people, they'll not talk to you, you have to wait and all that stuff. I have never ever faced, and I'm saying it openly. I've said this a number of times. I think 4 years I've completed. It's a mutual respect. So you give respect, you take respect, and I think that's all what is paying back, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that.
So Sabir asked, Abhay sir, Sabir asked, lockdown has been tough for everyone. So what has kept you motivated?
Me.
He thought himself was struggling. He was down with COVID, so he's faced the brunt. Yeah,
so
let's hear him.
So I am a blade runner. I had a COVID twice. Okay, so very frankly, for me, it was tough, but positive mindset, and especially always keep a positive mindset, and you fight it out. That's very, very important. The moment you come, under a, it's a COVID is what most of the people suffer because of the moment the psychological impact comes in the mind. That's very, very important. And I think so. My motivation was there to fight it out, and you have to fight it out, and just leave the past behind, and that's there. I'm there.
Wonderful. And if you have to tell the young generation who's joining real estate and the way they are going to make their careers, what one thing you want them to always do in their own corporate world real estate career?
One thing I like to share a couple of advices with them. First of all, they should know what they're selecting as a career. Second, first at least 3 years now, because now our time growth was not that fast, but now the growth is very fast. They should know their core field. It's very, very important, and they should be, what you say, they should put their blood there, their sweat, and they should make sure that they learn the nitty-gritty of all their proper core subject, and definitely they take the team together as a leader. That's very, very important. And I think that few finer points they will keep in the mind, and as then when they go in the corporate world, I think that everyone needs to learn from their sessions.
Shashi, there are a lot of questions coming in. If you can pick up these questions, that would be great in the chat box.
Jatin, can you, it will be difficult for me to browse through the questions. If you can check in.
Maybe I can help, because pretty interesting questions also I saw. So Abhay, sorry, maybe a little personal, but a question is very interesting conversation. Abhay, would you like your kids to join forces?
Absolutely. I would like my kids to join forces, but the problem is that I don't want to force them. In the present world, options are open to them. Definitely, my son sometimes talks about NDA, and it's open to him. If you would like to join NDA, why not? Definitely, I'll be one of the luckiest parents that if my son goes and join NDA and serve the country.
Excellent. A question from Vikram Kaul saying, what is one word to make yourself happy in challenging environment around us?
I always love to challenge the status quo, not with myself also. If I don't challenge the status quo, I'll become obsolete, and I think I'll be written off soon.
Excellent. Dennis, we see your hand, and we're so sorry. I am seeing this hand for last 10 minutes, but there was a rapid round for a way, so we couldn't get time. Dennis, over to you. Please shoot your question.
Thank you, Captain Rajesh. So Abhay, I have a very quick question here. Now, whenever we are all in the corporate world, most of the people who are not, the civilians, so-called civilians. So we always look at the defense, region as, wow, it's such a wonderful thing. Everybody, respects you so much. One rank below salutes you. Halaki corporate mein dekha to even the parking guy doesn't respect us, right? So it is always a very greener pasture for us to look at that particular level of defense. There's such a dignified life, respected life, such a disciplined life, and all those things. So similarly, do you also feel from your defense life where you are, there is a greener pasture in the corporate field? Do you feel so? And is it so that you come in to this corporate world because of that, thinking that it will be greener, or how is it? How do you transition from that phase to this phase?
Okay. So very frankly, no, for my motive was not to go to green or brown, posture that time. I had some personal, reasons to leave, because I was doing very well in thanks to God, I was doing very well in army, and I was very happy, and but due to personal reason, I have to leave. And I never thought, very frankly, I never thought that what is ahead for me in the corporate world. Very frankly, I never gave a thought to it. If we know our life, Dennis, what is ahead life for us, then there's no fun. Okay. And definitely, as I mentioned to you, I left my life, I left my baggage there behind when I landed in Bombay and why I started my career, very frankly, and, one has to adjust. And as I told you, if you change, it's good for you. If you don't change, I think so the system will make you change hard way. So definitely, you have to change, but you cannot change your character, your the way you work, but you have to, adjust how you work to an environment. And definitely, both the organization got, both the sides got their advantage and disadvantage. It's not that one side got advantage, other not disadvantage. But definitely in army, you have seen the brighter side of it, the saluting and all. Yeah, you have not seen the other side of it. But having said that, again, it's the definition of happiness. Where you think you're happy, and you need to be happy everywhere. Otherwise, you'll be, as an individual or human being, will be keep crying anywhere and everywhere. So that's what my mantra is.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Great.
So much.
Next question coming from Tulika, Calcutta. She's saying, who do you look up for your inspiration or mentorship?
Okay. Unfortunately, I lost my father. I always looked at my father for my inspiration, and definitely, he always used to gave me lot of tips in my life, and I used to call him whenever I was in two mind or I wanted something. Now, inspiration, I look for all people who have raised themselves individually, from the ashes, I can say, and is still humble, because I always believe in, wherever you go, you'll remain a human being. And the humble thing, I always keep coming on my mind, and that's what I always look for.
Excellent. Sorry, we are running short of time, but there are so many questions coming and people are enjoying the conversation. So one more from the chat box. Do you count the challenges in your life as blessings? In a way, you have answered it, but I think this is more specific. Do you count the challenges in your life as blessings, or sometimes even it's like unnecessary altogether? You get frustrated because of this. What's your advice to people?
So challenges are always welcome. Unless until challenges come, you can't use your brain. If you don't use your brain, I think so it will not be a sound brain. If the sound brain, it will be a sound body. I always believe in, and that keep pushing you to extend, because we have never realized how beautiful is human brain and body, and that's why I think always challenges are always required.
Great. With the hand, I think we have to change this hand. वो कांग्रेस का याद दिला देता है. अब फूल बनाना शुरू करो. Okay, I see this hand coming in from, I can't read the name. Sitanshu. Oh, Sitanshu, over to you. Question. Shoot your question.
Hi, Abhay. Good evening, everyone. Really got goosebumps when you shared your experience. So just I'm quite intrigued to ask this, and knowing most of the Fauji's are here also. What is very interesting to know, rather it's a highly respect from my side to know that folks in forces are motivated, despite of knowing that there is a risk of losing life, even in war or anything having a lot of collateral damage, they are still motivated and they're still fighting and going forward. If I compare that to a corporate scenario, and motivation is a very key aspect within the team. And to get team motivated, we have to hire consultants, specialists, special programs need to be brought in. So I just wanted to understand, like, what is there in forces? What is that one thing or two things that guys are so motivated and they don't need this such consultants and programs and specialists to motivate? And how can we bring in that thought and experience within a corporate world, Abhay?
Okay, very good question. I think so. And I raised this when I joined corporate world, and I raised this: why you need a management consultant to realize people, motivation, morale, and all, And that's I still this, I'm looking for an answer for this question. I found out the answer. Very frankly, as a leader, and I when I started, I told I mentioned that the belief in yourself. If you as a leader, you believe yourself, you believe in your team, I think so you are highly motivated, then you don't need any consultant to keep your team motivated. First of all, the insecurity creeps in most of the leaders, whether the whichever stage they are serving. And I think that leader in himself or herself is worried about their own well-being and own future. It's very not fair to ask them to keep the team motivated. But what I felt is the exceptions are always there. I also found people who are they were happy with their life, they were quite confident what they are doing, and they kept the team motivated. So the factors and the requirement of both the organizations different in keeping the motivation factor high for the team. The requirements are different, the parameters are different. And so what I believe, I always the lead as a leader, it's on you how you keep your team as a motivated, whether it's a CEO down the line, head of HODs and all. So it's on individual how you do it. But definitely in army, because we feel so confident and we feel so proud and trust our man, so it comes automatically. There's no need to for external factors.
Wonderful. So Sameer sir, you have something to say?
I have just been enjoying the conversation. I've just been enjoying, and I think the way it has turned out, I think it is definitely a great engagement and inspiring one. So Abhay has shared such beautiful thoughts, and Captain Rajesh obviously compliments with his remarks. Absolutely brilliant.
I can definitely, I can feel it that you're enjoying this conversation. Now you can have your beer glass up also, because moment you switched on camera, you forgot to keep your beer glass down. So you're enjoying it. That's a good thing.
Sir, आप जो बोलो, हम teetotaler होते हुए भी हम कह देंगे कि हमने beer पी है. आपको मना कौन कर सकता है सर?
मैं
तो हैं.
Appreciate इसलिए
पहले ही बोल दिया था.
बालकनी में बैठे हैं, नजारा देख रहे हैं, बियर ग्लास हाथ में है, तो ऑब्वियसली यू आर एंजॉयिंग इट. एंड अबे का चल रहा है सेशन. No, great. So back to you, Shashi. All yours.
Yeah, there was a very interesting question which also I wanted to ask you. Who inspires you? Very interesting question. I forgot the name. Who inspires you? Who motivates you?
There are a lot of people.
Don't say life.
No. So again, I always take inspiration by my father, his journey in the life. I always looked at him from where he how he fought with his life, or he made his life when he was hardly 12-year-old, and then he turned into the engineer, gold medalist in one of the prestigious institute of India. And then how he moved into a world, and he reached the level which no one at that stage in 50s and 60s could have thought of. Definitely. So that's a biggest inspiration for me when I looked around. And definitely then I always believe in it. For me, and as I told you, Shashi, whatever things come in my life, when I lost my father or anything, I always smiled at because I always believe in your challenges are always come to give you a new path. There's something for you. The more the tough situation, I think so better you get, and you learn something, and you become a better person in life.
Wonderful.
Sorry, Shashi, you said don't say wife. That's what you said. Moment you said wife, अशोक प्रभाकर सर ने अपना मास्क ऊपर कर लिया. Otherwise, उनका मास्क नीचे है, but मैडम का ध्यान आते उन्होंने मास्क ऊपर कर लिया. See, that's the fear people have. How can you say don't say wife? Wife to wife into 1, 2, 3, 10. Then he says number 2 is someone else. घर में बैठ के कॉल ले रहे हैं, work from home. तुम मरवाओगे क्या खाना भाई रात को?
Same way here. My wife was not here, so I could ask that question.
Rajesh, I'm driving back from office.
Sir, my apology, but moment he said ki don't say wife, moment that wife word came in, I suddenly realized you pulling up your mask.
There was a cop standing in front.
Sir.
Abhay, it has been wonderful talking to you. It is really interesting, and I'm sure that a lot of people who join the call learn a lot of lessons from you. And also personally, I have gained a lot. And this Monday motivation, and we are also going to talk and try to bring some leaders across. And we are also thinking in terms of making it a weekly session. And you are the first person to come online, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you very much for this. And over to Captain Rajesh and or Samir says to
No, I'm done. I seriously thank you so much, Abhay. My job is to make it lighter throughout. That's what I keep trying. But I think pretty useful, interesting. The sort of comments we have seen. Again, I see again people saying thank you all, very inspiring. There's so many, a lot of people are pinging me one-on-one. I keep saying you should guys write to everyone. Anyway, I think the crux is that people have really enjoyed it, and that's come from your heart. It's nothing like as an artificial. So I think that's the best part. And thank you so much, Shashi, for this whole idea. I think this is brilliant because getting new people, hearing them itself is something which we should really, really do. And you have done it very well. So thank you so much. The last comment, Samir, and maybe then we can wind up.
Yeah, I think so. I had a little chat with Abhay and Shashi a couple of days back, and I was delighted the way that even that small interaction had gone, and I was really looking forward to this interaction. And today, it is a build up from where we left. Absolutely inspiring, Abhay. And I'm sure all the people on the call, they would have taken some pearls of wisdom, some motivation, some inspiration from your work that you have done, from your life. And I think my only request is keep inspiring, and we all would love to hear more from you.
Thank you.
Abhay sir, thank you very much. And please, if you have something to share, final words.
For me, Shashi,
Yes, Abhay.
keep smiling, believe in yourself, and you will be the winner.
Thank you very much. On that note, it's so wonderful to have all of you. Thank you very much. Let's wait for the next week, Monday motivation. We'll get back to you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay.
Jai Hind, guys. Jai Hind.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Captain Saab.